picking a Dajio or even securing a Rona would be actually really well for them. But depends on like who Rebirth of Empire is actually going to ban, because if they ban somebody else, then SK Gaming has that opportunity to leave Kroll for a later pick into the game.
Well, there's not going to be an Adagio here, as SK are the ones to remove that out. So we'll have to see if it will be a Rona, a Kroll. If it's not going to be that Arden, again, like that's always something in the back of my mind as a first pick, or at least a priority pick, amongst the first of the sequences here. But Tasty Bacon, I mean, Kroll, we've seen a heck of a lot of Vox. We've, could we still even like see a Saw or a Finn?
I'm not sure if we're going to see Saw or Finn from these two teams. Neither of these teams really were talking too much about having these secret strategies or extra special compositions, which every single time a team has talked about that, they were the ones that were pulling out the Saws or the Finns. So I'm not sure if we're going to see it here, but with Kroll actually being the one getting banned away, that's a bit of a surprise to me.
It feels like it's a target on jetpacks.
Yeah.
Definitely. So SK here is actually in a very good position to lock out that Sky, and we've seen them play very well with it again yesterday.
Yeah, and there it is. So SK will pick up that Sky. Rebirth of Empire now. The early game aggression just over two separate teams now, just not really kind of hitting that mark. And this is a big double pick. Zekin, what would you prioritize here?
Honestly, for Rebirth of Empire, they have a lot of things open to them. They did extremely well last game with their picks, and I would not... I could definitely see them taking Arden. I could definitely see them taking Rona once again.
All right, so no Adagio, but we could still see that Rona. Arden, of course, the superstar. There he is. And the Rona. Zekin on point now today. To follow that up, of course, Rome, you got some competition here, am I right?
Whew. What am I going to do?
Well, you got to get it right, man.
Picking up Arden and Rona on the other team, you want to be able to like reposition around Rona, being able to like knock it down without getting in that melee range. On SK Gaming, it's like they have to think about this ahead of time. And they're like, will we put this guy in the jungle or will we put her in lane?
So what would be a good pairing?
Coming from my perspective, it's like getting stuns is actually really good, but a pedal is actually awesome.
All right, so the Catherine pedal coming into that, and Zekin, you just went all into that. You said, yes, you want to see this pedal. Why is the pedal so big here for you?
So the pedal is fantastic for the side of SK Gaming because Rebirth of Empire, they have a very strong double melee right now. They have Arden, they have Rona. They're trying to dash in onto that back line. And pedal, dropping the seeds, using that trampoline, will be able to get away so effectively.
All right, now we saw double crystal pretty much exclusively, I think, with pedal yesterday. Could be a crystal Sky to go with it. It really depends on this last pick. And Rome, what do you think of that last pick? Never mind, it's going to be a Vox. Good job, Rome. It's not quite that triple melee, though. And we did see when it's not a triple melee, the double crystal with pedal, it was with actually a jewel back then, but it didn't really hit the mark.
Yeah, and if you're looking at SK's composition this game, we're trying to wonder, where does Pedal really fit in? Like, are they going to actually put Sky up in lane so that Pedal can play in the jungle, or are they going to put it reverse the way around? I don't feel like they have like a real, in terms of like direction and where they really want to go. They're just picking up a comp that actually plays really well. I can't see where they have that aggression in the lane or where they have aggression in the jungle. It's not like a primary focus for them.
Well, Rebirth of the Kingdom, now with that Vox added to it, it feels like they have a huge mobility factor. Disengages, they got the leaps, Vanguard can just follow in, put up the gauntlet. Is that going to be kind of the big thing that you think you're going to see here from Rebirth?
Well, looking at them, like, we're going to see a lot of Rona jumping into the back line with Arden following up with the Vanguard. But how are they going to do this? Like, if there's a Catherine to be able to peel and Pedal is just jumping off away, they're going to have enough concentrated power to actually knock off this Pedal, because once she jumps away, once she starts kiting and ulting, they're actually stuck in a bad spot. So building Rona really tanking this game is actually going to make a difference later on in mid-game, but she needs to have that certain amount of DPS coming out in order enable to actually execute somebody. The other team is so mobile that they're able to kite like champions, and that's something that's going to make a difference in this game.
Well, the championship is going to be on the line here, because if Rebirth of Empire takes this 2-0, they're going to be to the Grands, and SK Gaming can only go home as third. To bring you the action here to find out, will this be a 1-1 or a 2-0 sweep? It will be the Humanist and Zekin.
Thank you for Court Gesture. And one of the big things about this match is, I'm wondering, will this be the Jetpack's weapon Sky?
Well, I mean, there's a good chance that we could see that. They could go double crystal, right? But if they want to have that balanced build, that's what we'll see. And it's been played to great effect earlier in the tournament. I don't know. I'm just excited to see a pedal, and I think they have a really nice lineup.
All right. And right now, the teams, we do have SK Gaming up against the side of Rebirth of Empire. And it could be, it's going to be a very interesting match because they do have a lot of things on the line. This will be the deciding match to see if SK can, pull it to a decisive game 3, or if they're gonna fall into the third place match.
Yeah, I don't think SK are gonna go away easy on this one. These guys, they came here to win this tournament. They have so much swag, like we talked about before, and it's for good reason. Everybody respects them as a team, and I think coming into this one, they've got their pedal, they've got their Sky. It's going to be a great lineup for them, and it's not going to be a skunk at least. And who knows? If they win it, we're going into Game 3. If Rebirth take it, they're going to the Grand Finals, and it's only time will tell.
Yeah, and right there you do see Waldemar, Jetpacks, and MYQ getting ready. They're ready to load into the game, and this is going to be a very, very exciting game too. I'm really excited to see, will the pedal pick work? Will SK make the comeback? And will this be the Jetpacks Weapon Sky?
Will we see it? Will Arden land those big gauntlets? Will Rona jump into the fray and be able to just tear them down? I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you get a pedal in there, and like Roan talked about, she's able to kite so well. You're dropping seeds, you're trampolining back, and if they start to run the other way, then you get on them. But she's also really squishy, so you get jumped on by Rona, she can get popped really quick.
Most certainly, and one of the big things right here is we do see, the Arden, the Rona, the Vox coming out from the side of Rebirth of Empire, and we do see the teams in the game, SK game versus Rebirth of Empire, and it is Jetpacks on that Sky. He has a weapon blade.
All right, well, I actually did get to cast one of the qualifier matches for SK, and Waldemar did play that pedal. He played it lights out, so I'm excited to see him on this pedal again here in this Game 2 as we have Rebirth of Empire versus SK Gaming.
Yeah, and right here we see Jetpacks with that weapon Sky. He is in lane. He's going to be able to put some good pressure onto Great Khali. The Sky will actually trade fairly well with Vox very early on, so I'm expecting to see some early aggression coming out from SK Gaming. They do have that pedal pick. They do have that Catherine in the jungle. Not as strong of a combo against the Rona and Arden, but still very, very effective against that double melee.
Yeah, it's very effective. And of course, one of the things that we're going to be looking for is that power spike on pedal. She's going to be looking to get, her first item generally was that Frostburn. Once she gets her ultimate, they can look to roam and then fight around the cooldown on that ultimate. One of the things that's very deceptive for a lot of people is that she's not only doing damage, but she's also healing her allies when that spontaneous combustion goes off.
Yeah, so that's a little bit interesting. We see SK Gaming actually recall extremely early on, and on the other side, Rebirth of the Empire, look at the middle of the map. There are already 4 scout traps laid out on the field.
Yeah, 4 laid out and a nice little pattern there. So they want to know any entrance, any sneaky stuff that's happening in this game. They're going to be aware of it. There's going to be no spying on this early game.
Most certainly, and right now you do see this game is actually very heavily decided on the lane matchup. Will Jetpacks be able to push in Great Khali on that Vox? If he is able to, roaming down and helping his teammates out in fights will be so incredibly important.
Rebirth starting to make a little bit of a movement here, but a scout trap will let SK know that this is happening. And there's no camps for them to pick up just yet. You see Upfire move into position to drop that scout trap right where that camp will respawn, so a nice play from him. And these guys, it's just a little bit of an intelligence mission here in the early game.
Most certainly. And one of the big things right now is that, SK, they're doing okay. MYQ is actually still level 1. Got to level 2, and they are going for the gank onto Great Khali.
Here we go. Great Khali, he's stunned up, and he's going to get just eaten alive as first blood goes to SK, so it's already a different game than Game 1.
Yeah, so even with all those scout traps out on the field, Rebirth of Empire did not cover the most important path that SK Gaming did decide to take.
Oh man, it's really tough, and like you said, there were so many of those scout traps down. The fact that it wasn't in that position is just very unfortunate to them.
Yeah, it would have been great if Rebirth of Empire was able to get one more scout trap just in that corridor, and right now we do see a potential fight.
Yeah, a little bit of an engagement happening here, and that'll be canceled off as the Vanguard from Upfire comes back out to reposition himself back towards the side of Net Toilettes, and with that, Waldemar's happy to move back towards his side of the jungle with MYQ.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how Waldemar builds this pedal. I'm expecting to see the Frostburn first, but he has 3 crystal bits and light armor, so he's going to be able to survive the early game very well against Net Toilet. Net Toilet will try to jump in, try to explode Waldemar, but Waldemar is just a little bit too tanky for him right now. Jetpacks might be in a little bit of trouble right here.
Jetpack's going to have to be careful as they are hanging around. He's not he actually doesn't know that they're there, but they'll think better of it and move back towards the jungle just to continue their farm.
Yep, so Great Khali right now throwing flares out left and right. He'll just keeping an eye on that bush. If he can see into it, if Jetpacks does not leave, he knows that, his team is safely able to rotate around the jungle.
It looks like Waldemar is starting to get his levels here, and he's getting his items up, building in towards that Frostburn. This is going to be a scary next couple minutes, as he's now level 5, and he will hit level 6 very soon. And that's the point where Petal will look to team fight if possible. I mean, they can even be just the two, MYQ and Waldemar, to make a movement and really not be too scared, because they can disengage so easily.
Yeah, Waldemar right now is falling a little bit behind in CS in the jungle. He's at 22 compared to Nightfly that's 25. Not really a huge difference, and the gold difference is completely even. So no real lead coming out from either side. It really depends on how these team fights will play out in just a few minutes.
MYQ hanging out here with jetpacks, maybe a little bit of spidey senses to know that the rest of Rebirth of Empire were hanging around in that bush. They actually didn't know unless a flare went down that I didn't see. Scout Trap will be popped, not going to land on MYQ, but the stun will onto Great Khali. He will Sonic Zoom forward to reposition himself and get out of that one. Means Upfire was going to hang around just to give his buddy a little bit of defense here. He doesn't want him to go down at this point for a second time.
Yeah, one of the things here is I'm really interested in seeing if Jetpacks will pick up some flares. Being able to keep an eye on that bush, keeping on the enemy side. If he gets some scout traps, if he gets some flares, being able to play more aggressively onto this Vox is going to be so important for him.
So important. And at this point, it's really anybody's game. Into the fray, Rona is going to let loose the Red Mist, cancel it off, and you see Waldemar reposition himself. Jetpack's there with the Surrey Strike forward barrage. MYQ is there as well, but it looks like they'll show mercy on the net Toilette and just go ahead and regroup and move themselves back.
So the forward barrage not quite as effective on that Weapon Sky compared to the Crystal Sky, but still doing a little bit of damage, making sure that Net does back up and burning the sprint active of Great Khali.
Now you see them just jump onto Waldemar. They start to punch him in the face, but he just trampolines back. It's going to be like that every time. And of course, when those seeds go down as well, Zekan, they're going to be such a nuisance to anybody trying to chase them.
Well, certainly. Net is going to be trying to jump in onto Waldemar and Jetpacks, but with those seeds down on the field, he's going to have to position so incredibly well in these team fights. That's going to be very difficult for him to properly hit anyone.
I imagine, I'm not going to have to imagine. It's Great Khali is going to be lit up here. So 6 minutes into the game, it is now 2-0 in favor of SK. SK skunked in game 1. They've come back with a vengeance here and have a 1K gold lead. They're looking really good.
Most certainly. And with the team comp that they do have, I do expect them to do extremely well in the mid to late game. You see, Waldemar, he does have the Frostburn, such an incredibly important item for that Petal, and MYQ goes for a Shiver Steel once again, and that's an incredibly smart pickup in this matchup.
Oh my goodness. If you get caught out, you're going to be so absolutely slow here that they can really take their time and do whatever they want. That means that they don't have to dive too crazy and get in a bad position. They can really, think out their movements and just they can flank if they want to. They can get where they need to. And it's really not a scary position for them.
Yeah, and right now looking at the build of Jetpacks. Jetpacks, he currently is going for a Star Blade on top of a Breaking Point. So we are going to see a very, very impressive build from him.
All right, well, Jetpacks, he's building into that. That's what we like to see, and that is going to be devastating, to say the least, if he gets this full item build going forward in this match. I mean, I'm sure that Rebirth of Empire, they're not feeling like too negative at this point, but they know that they need to be careful to not just continue to feed away these kills in this game, because now a 2K gold lead towards SK, and if they continue this way, it's just going to continuously build for them.
Right, and even though Rebirth of Empire is a little bit behind, Vox, that Great Khali Vox, he has the Aftershock. He is likely building to Breaking Point. He is going to still be able to do some huge amounts of damage, even if he doesn't get the Breaking Point. I'm expecting to see either an Alternating Current and Broken Myth or the Breaking Point build. I think the Full Crystal build will likely work out better here, though.
Well, only time will tell. The gold mine picked up by SK earlier, and this is just a nice control of the jungle here, and something that Rebirth will have to pay attention to as the game goes on. Of course, they're going to want to claim it for themselves, but they can't be too greedy and over-aggressive trying to do that, because it can turn around on them so hard.
Yep, and we do see Jetpacks. He has that Breaking Point. He has 1 stack. He has 0 stacks. It's just going to be an interesting dance of whether or not Jetpacks can build up the stacks, and if he does, how much damage can he actually put out?
And this is, of course, we got a bit of a different comp coming out here, but it looks like an entirely different team from game 1 to game 2. I'm not sure really what happened. They obviously had to talk with each other. These are talented players with a lot of experience. All the engagement happening here. Jetpack's nice reposition. He's going to get himself out of harm's way. But yeah, I'm sure that they talked to each other after game 1 and just said, hey guys, calm down. You know that you can do this. We're all talented players, and we just have to come in, play this game right, don't do anything crazy, and we're going to be okay.
Most certainly. And right now, Jetpacks, with that breaking point, working towards that Sorrow Blade, he is going to be extremely mobile in these fights, and it's really up to Great Khali to do most of the damage to him. And I'm not even sure Great Khali can trade with him.
Well, of course, he will if he's able, but at this point, like you say, it's going to be a very tough situation for them. The three members of SK moving towards the lane here, and MYQ looked like he wanted to get the engage on the Great Khali, but they're just not quite where they wanted to be. That means the Great Khali with Upfire behind him. Whoa, man, Gauntlet goes down, but Death from above, and Petal will get the kill onto Vox, and Upfire is going to go down as well. It felt like they were kind of safe there, but it just came out so fast, there's nothing they can do.
Right, and Walmart played that so incredibly well. He knew that he would get jumped on, and he knew that he had his ultimate on, and with that ultimate, that Petal just completely healed right back up.
Yeah, that was such a nice play and use of that spontaneous combustion, and it turns around the fight. That's the deception that I was kind of talking about with Petal earlier, and used to great effect right there.
Yeah, and right now Great Khali sitting 0-3-0, not doing too hot this game. He did quite well the first time around, but we will see, can SK take this decisive game too?
Well, I am a believer in SK. I know that they are winners, and game one really it just wasn't their match. But here in game two, they have shown that they are a team to be feared. And moving forward, of course, like you said, Rebirth of Empire, they have every opportunity in the world to still take this game. But it's just looking very good for SK at this point.
Right, and Rebirth of Empire, if they do get that power on Vox, if they get him some more gold, if he is able to farm up into the mid to late game, he will still be a huge, huge menace for the side of SK Gaming.
Well, okay, here's the thing. It's if he's able to do these things, right? But the way the game's going right now, if it continues the way it's going, a slight gold advantage going the way of SK, they're getting the kills. Is that going to happen for Rebirth of Empire?
I still think it's possible. SK, they do take their games fairly slowly, and that will allow Rebirth of Empire to potentially get into that late game point. So it's really up to the SK. Can they push their advantage? Are they able to take turrets? They do have about 3,000 gold lead, which is pretty solid. And right now, Great Khali getting jumped on.
Yeah, Great Khali stunned up from the Merciless Pursuit, but it's just a little too deep there to really follow up on, and looks like nobody's going to take advantage of that. He does have some allies near him, so that will cancel it off, and everybody else moving towards the jungle here. It looks like maybe SK taking this opportunity to hit up the shop, and Fountain picked up by Catherine. Sorrowblade finished up here by our Sky, and this is maybe a point where they look to engage off the back of these item pickups.
Oh, Jetpack's jumping in on Nettoilette. Nettoilette is almost certainly going to go down right here.
Yeah, Nettoilette lit up. Death from above, not going to land. Is Nettoilette going to get out of here? Yes, he will. Lucky boy.
That was a very nice save coming out from Upfire. That Vanguard just got Nettoilette out of there. Great Khali taking a lot of damage. MYQ taking a few turret shots. But SK will be fine. This is a good opportunity for SK to take some turrets. Like, every single member of Rebirth of Empire is fairly low. Upfire is the only healthy one, but he's Arden. He's not going to be able to do too much. And if SK game decides to go hit the turrets, they will be able to take it down.
Oh, Nettoilette is just lit up there. The death from above does come down, but not even needed as Petal does pick that one up. And now with the turret down, it looks like they want to go for more, but a defensive gauntlet comes out just to zone them so they can back up Great Khali and get him out of there.
Yeah, and this is the kind of team composition I wanted to see out of SK Gaming. This is exactly what they need to do to take the second game. And right now they are playing it extremely well. They are 5-0. They have not let up on the pressure.
And this just really shows how complex of a game this is, how much the strategy and drafting really comes into it, because game one, 10-0 for Rebirth of Empire, and now we're sitting here in game two, 5-0 in the reverse. So I don't know, I'm impressed the way SK have come back into this, and we'll see how it all unfolds as the minutes do continue. We're 13 minutes into this game, and a nice little lead, 5K gold lead going the way of SK at this point. It feels like a slow bleeding, but like you say, there's always that chance that they can put together an incredible team fight and even pick up an ace at some point. It would be 5-3 at that point.
I would like to point out Jetpack's item build. He has a Star Blade. He has a breaking point. That was pretty much expected. However, he picks up the Aegis, which is so incredibly intelligent because he knows that the only person in these fights who can even get close to him is Great Khali, and if he itemizes directly against the person who can actually touch him, he'll be completely fine in these fights.
Yeah, just very smart play coming out of him, and he's doing a great job here. So Zekent mentioning that, giving him props as he deserves. A little bit of movement coming from SK. Scout traps will pop, so Rebirth know that they are here. And they'll find some more scout traps as well, as NYQ does lay his own down. But a lot of vision here across the map, and it's so important that these teams know where the rotations are coming from.
Yeah, and right now you do see SK about to start sieging onto Rebirth Empire. This is a great opportunity for them. They can use Sky. They can get some stacks of Breaking Point just by poking out of the members of Rebirth of Empire. And if they ever get engaged on, they have Waldemar. Waldemar will heal them. He will drop some seeds. They'll be completely fine. And it's going to be so hard for Rebirth of Empire to really engage on SK.
Look at this map right now. You see these scout traps everywhere. They got control of the gold mine as well. I mean, this jungle just belongs to SK at this point. There's no contest about it. Rebirth, if they want to come through here, it's just going to be so hard for them.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things. SK, they took their advantage. They littered the map with vision, and that's just the way you want to play the game. Once you have vision control, once you know your opponents, where your opponents are rotating to, you can counterplay them so effectively.
Well, they have fortified their position in this game. They're feeling great. They're looking good, and they'll continue to do this as they move forward. It looks like 3 players have run into each other. The gauntlet goes down. Now Jetpacks is just going to drop death from above on everybody's face. They're all taking damage. Net Toilette's going to move forward for his team there. He'll be the first to fall as Kraken does come out on the map here. Upfire is probably going to go down as well as Jetpacks is locked onto him. That means Great Kali is the only member of Rebirth standing, and he's forced back under his turret. So 7-0 in favor of SK in Game 2 here. This is a completely different game than Game 1. And are they going to die for Great Kali? The preemptive death from above is going to come out. Don't even need it. They just smash Vox and eat him alive.
And that was just a flawless fight from SK Gaming. Honestly, they are taking their advantage, they are pushing their advantage, and they have taken 2 turrets, they have given up no kills, they have given Rebirth of Empire no recourse in this game.
Yeah, there's... They're just pushed into a corner at this point, and they can only play defensively. It's just it feels like such a tough position to be in. And of course, they're going to continue to fight. They are here, and don't want to go into a game 3 if they don't have to. But hey, if they lose this game, it's not over for them by any means.
Yeah, and this is exactly what happens when you do have that very flexible hero pool. Going back to the draft phase, SK Gaming, they knew Rebirth Empire. They see these picks come out. They see the Arden. They see the Rona, and well, SK Gaming has Sky. What they do, they pick the Petal. They pick the Catherine. They're able to do so many things as long as you have an open hero pool. It is so easy to just counterpick your opponents every single time.
Yeah, it truly is. And you know, one of the things also, Catherine, she's had some nice silences come out, and when that happens, it's so hard for Rebirth to try and follow up with anything. You know, that means that they have to just tuck tail and run. And if they try to re-ghost, well, it's probably already too late.
Yep, and right now we do see SK Gaming start up on that Kraken. It does look like Rebirth Empire does have an idea that it is happening, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to take this fight.
Well, they can try to do it, but of course, SK do know that they're coming. Those scout traps were popped, and you know, SK, they're like, this is a very patient move from them. They're like, hey, you know, we started it. We spent some time chopping this Kraken down, but it doesn't matter. We'll force them out. We don't have to do anything over-aggressive or crazy. And they just go right back to work on this Kraken.
Right, and what I would like to see happening from SK is if Rebirth of Empire comes to stop them once again, they should go take the mini-mines. But it looks like they will take the Kraken, and this is going to be a pretty strong push coming out from them.
All right, well, 8-0 for SK here at the 17-minute mark of this game. Kraken is live and an ally of SK as he's going to move towards the lane and then slowly walk his way down the lane. This is a very desperate situation for Rebirth of Empire. They were able to pick up that minion mine, and maybe that'll help them just a touch here as this push is going to come in full force.
Yeah, and right now we do see the double infusion coming out from Great Kali. That will delay his build a little bit, but he needs the power right now. If they are not able to stop this Kraken push, the game is over.
Oh, it's going to have to be an amazing, amazing fight for Rebirth if they're going to take this one. Let's see what they can do. They're going to have to put it together. The Gauntlet goes down. Net Toilette is out front for his team. They will move back towards the Kraken. They can't allow it to just pummel, so they want to spread their damage out, but they're all taking damage. Sky's lighting them up, and they get 2 back towards the fountain, but it looks like Great Khali with one more short shot might fall. No, he's not just yet, but still, turret 1 is down. And looks like these guys are in a bad spot. They lose one. Petal will pick that up. And Net Toilette, he can't do anything. They're forced back to heal after trading any blows at all. The second turret will be falling shortly. And it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have Game 2 going to SK Gaming. And you know what? This was the last game. Game 1 was the first skunk of the tournament, going to Rebirth of Empire to know. This one's a skunk going the opposite.